What an idiot.
Oh,
You're taking my video and putting words in my mouth I didn't say.
Besides the fact that I actually didn't do that, I really hope that you don't do that.
Anyways, any powerlifter with half a brain look at the program and realize that it's kind of shit.
It doesn't take a genius to point at a program and say it's bad. We
does
both
not.
agree that it's bad, and I said that it was bad, but you said that I said it was good, which I didn't. If you want a real conversation, if you want somebody who actually knows what they're talking about and doesn't just regurgitate information.
Right. So why just regurgitate? As the individual that the scapula and the humerus are not related to each other.
You deny basic anatomy. I move my arm out here like this. The inferior angle of the scapula is going to upperly rotate. That's the reason why I didn't include this in your video, because it would make you look bad. But anyways, now that we know he really doesn't understand anatomy or physiology, we can kind of dispel the reasons that he's using to back up his claims. Make this really quick, so let's get after it. Look at my fucking whiteboard here. Ignore the handwriting. We have Coach JP's guide. So 7 competition squats and 7 competition deadlifts. We were doing these 2 weeks out. Now, this is 14 compound sets with heavy axial forces, and they're both high skill movements. So this tells us that fatigue is not being managed. Now he says that, oh, it's only 80%, it's 10% less than your working weight. That's a false dichotomy. I didn't say that 80% was too fatiguing. I said that the sheer amount of volume being done is accumulating excess fatigue that we really don't need to be accumulating. The issue would be load, volume, and frequency. And I could think of much better ways to practice coordination than doing 6 fucking doubles. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. How are you doing 6 doubles back to back? So he's agreeing with me. It's too much volume. And that's what I was saying in the video. There's much better ways to program than that. I also see no reason for that 2 weeks out of a competition. It doesn't make any sense. It says, I do not understand volume, when that's just not true. Because the first set is going to be most hypertrophic. So every additional set that you have after that first one is going to be less stimulating for hypertrophy.
Oh my God, he's talking about hypertrophy, but it's powerlifting.
Oh, relax. Just take a step back. Yes, hypertrophy does make sense in a powerlifting context, because how a muscle gets stronger is if it gets bigger. That's in the long term, aside from tendon stiffness, neural adaptations, etc. We know that training more frequently is better, not only for hypertrophy, but for neural adaptations, technique. So if I was letting my athlete do 7 sets of squats and then 7 sets of deadlifts after that, we only do that once a week. You can't do that twice. It's not, you know what I'm saying? You also have to recognize that hypertrophy isn't the same as damage. So with each additional set you're doing, you're accumulating more damage. And that kind of shows you the diminishing returns. Excessive volumes, greater fatigue, less quality of a set, less adaptations are occurring. My perspective was, why not get the same neural adaptation out of doing like 1 to 3 of each SBD and just calling it a day there and just doing it more frequently instead of doing 7 comp squats and 7 comp deads in the same day. And someone in his comments was talking about deloads or something. So if we overreach in our bodybuilding training, if we do too much volume to where we're not progressing anymore, and then we have to back off in order to keep progressing, you know what we call that? We call that overreaching. So we just reduce our volume. So if you're significantly stronger in your peak, like by a ridiculous amount than you are in your regular training, that tells me what you were doing, it was just too much. You were training too much, which means you were doing too much volume. You know, he can say that I don't understand volume, I don't understand fatigue, I don't understand powerlifting, and you know, that's fine. I'm cool with that.